Hello everyone and welcome to my channel. My name is Konstantin. Today I'm going to tell you about a former KGB Major General, Oleg Kalugin. Kalugin is a very interesting and controversial person in the history of the Soviet intelligence. He became the youngest general of the KGB. He was about 40 years old. His career rose rapidly, but in 1980 he was suspected of a double game for the KGB and the CIA. As a result, he was demoted to deputy head of the Leningrad KGB. Before his demotion, he held a high position in the central office of the KGB. In 1995, Kalugin moved to the USA. In 2002, Kalugin was stripped of his rank and awards by a Russian court. He was accused of high treason and was sentenced to 15 years in prison in absentia. In 2003, Kalugin became a naturalized citizen of the United States. Oleg Kalugin was born on September 6, 1934, in Leningrad. His father was an officer in the police. He worked as a guard for the secret police known the NKVD. After finishing school, Oleg intended to join the KGB. But his father strongly objected. He told his son what was really going on in the Soviet Russia in the middle of 1930s. However, Oleg enrolled in the Security Minister's Institute of Foreign Languages in Leningrad. It was one of two schools in the country designed to train KGB officers. A couple words about his personal life. Oleg married to Lyudmila Ivanova at the age of 20. He has two daughters. Unfortunately, the youngest daughter died in the USA. The elder lives in Moscow. Kalugin lost his first wife in 2001. Lyudmila died of cancer. Oleg married in 3 years again. An interesting story happened to Kalugin during his studies at the KGB. One time he was summoned by his supervisor for the talk. Kalugin was asked for what purpose he listens to the BBC and other shortwave radio broadcasts in English. Kalugin answered, "I had been tuning into the station to improve my accent and enrich my vocabulary." Also, Lieutenant asked, "What else do you listen to besides the British broadcasts?" "Well, I listen to music too," Kalugin replied. At that time, it wasn't safe to listen to the BBC. I have to say that Kalugin has been listening to the BBC and the Voice of America since he was a schoolboy. After 4 years spent in the Institute of Foreign Languages in Leningrad, Kalugin was invited to Moscow to the intelligence school, where he spent 2 more years studying Arabic and world of Islam. Kalugin was supposed to go to Cairo in 1958, but just 2 weeks before his departure for Cairo, Egypt, Kalugin was invited to the personal department of the KGB. The guy said, "Look, you don't look like an Arab. We have a better idea. Why don't you go to the United States on Fulbright Scholar?" And that is how Kalugin landed in the United States. As I've said, Kalugin was sent to the United States, where he enrolled as a journalism student at Columbia University on Fulbright Scholarship in 1958. In the US, Kalugin continued to pose as a journalist for a number of years, eventually serving as a Radio Moscow correspondent at the United Nations. In 1965, after 5 years in New York City, Kalugin returned to Moscow to serve under the cover of a press officer in the Soviet Foreign Ministry. In reality, he was deputy resident and acting chief of residency at the Soviet embassy. Rising in his rank, Kalugin became one of the KGB's top officers operating out at the Soviet embassy. That led to his being promoted to general in 1974. In 1980, Kalugin was demoted to deputy head of the Leningrad KGB as a result of an intrigue initiated by Vladimir Khrushchev, and then a close confidant of Yuri Andropov, who had been privately criticized by Kalugin. Kalugin was accused of recruiting an agent 20 years prior, who the KGB believed, probably incorrectly, was actually an American spy. Kalugin was suspected of working for the CIA, but there was no supporting evidence. A former CIA mole, Karl Kocher, made unsupported claims that for his eventual arrest, Kalugin was responsible. The unsubstantiated accusation didn't stop Kalugin from criticizing the agency's policies and methods. He complained that KGB overlooked corruption in the highest circles of Soviet society while it terrorized common people. Kalugin's career at the KGB ended with his forced retirement on February 26, 1990. Kalugin remains a critic of Vladimir Putin, his former subordinate, whom he called a war criminal over his conduct of the Second Chechen War. Since 1995, Kalugin has been living in the United States, where he published his book My 32 Years in Intelligence and Espionage Against the West. So, in conclusion, I want to say that Kalugin intended to reform the destructive system of the KGB. Unfortunately, the Russian government didn't want to see Kalugin as a reformer of the intelligence system. Kalugin saw the KGB's problems from the inside. He is a liberal man and wanted to see Russia as a free and democratic country. That's all I wanted to say. Thank you for watching. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel. I'll see you in the next video.